Well, hello there, and welcome back to Good in the Middle Way. I'm your host Rob, and I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome back. How have you been? I hope that this finds you well. Today we're going to be talking about the second noble truth, which is about the causes of suffering. Last week we covered dukkha, the first noble truth, which is the truth of suffering and how it permeates our entire existence. And now we're going to be looking at its causes. This is number 2 in the series of 4 plus the Eightfold Path. So please tune in week to week for this introduction into Buddhism, and you can kind of see what the Buddha had to say that is different and a bit unique compared to some of these more comparative episodes on where we are all the same and after the same goals with our human life. And so have a little blurb here, and the technical word in the text would be Samudaya, and the truth of the causes of suffering. Now, suffering arises from craving, rooted in ignorance and how things actually are. Craving takes 3 forms: craving from sensory pleasure, craving for existence/becoming, and craving for non-existence, wanting to escape or annihilate experience. This will also start laying the groundwork for the Buddhist idea of dependent origination. That is a bit more complex, and we will eventually get there. But for today's episode and purpose, why do we want to know these causes of suffering? Well, we want suffering to cease. Nobody likes to suffer. So how do we stop suffering in this way that is, it's easy to alleviate some of the physical sufferings, right? Like, here's a hammock, a nice pillow, a warm blanket, right? But as we discussed last week, we can also see that once we lose that warm blanket or the cold draft comes in or something, that, where did my peace go? Where did my happiness go? My satisfaction. And so we've realized a bit how things are ever changing. Now, if we can understand here that what is causing our suffering and having this understanding, then we can start to move forward. Well, what can I do about it? Because I understand how it works and how it functions. And craving is really, it's such a beautiful thing to learn and have awareness of. And yet it is so ingrained in our minds and just takes over so often because of our biology and also be in our consciousness. It's not our natural state that we want to be, If this were so, the world wouldn't look the way that it does. There's things about our consciousness that seem, this really comes with the process, this craving, and for existence and how our human existence goes. Now, how does it permeate? How does it affect us? Well, I started with the biology, right? We're hungry, we're thirsty. If any of us have ever been hangry before, we know, like, it's not our conscious mind, it doesn't feel like our conscious self, but it just turned on and it was there. Like, how do you stop craving? How do you stop that in one's body? And now mental cravings are, how do you say, they're so preyed upon so well with marketing and with social media and, these sorts of things where it is absolutely, probably, the most tapped in it's ever been in human experience. It used to just be, other levels. But see, the one distinction I'm thinking of as I'm saying that is, at those times that may have seemed like simpler times, the craving for the satisfaction, whether it was material or mental or, sexual or something, it was, just as strong. We might think that we're so special now, or things are like dialed up like all the way to new levels, and we could go back and forth about how true that is And on certain things, yes, it definitely is more dialed up, but it's also the same mental experience. And that's why I'm saying it's also the same, because, you know, if you're in the desert walking and all you want is a drink of water, that craving is paramount. Like it is so, you're so fixated, it is all of it, you know, literally kind of like an all or nothing. And our minds simply go there now and they focus on different things. But we suffer because we crave, and we are always, our minds are always grasping, they're always looking, and they're always a bit unsatisfied. That's why it takes a lot of work to be content and have the peace of contentment, and why the Buddha was giving all these practices and, you know, really encouraging this, because we can, through effort, find peace, we can find contentment, we can really cessate from craving. To levels that, not even just levels, there's like a certain internal place that is generated. I wouldn't even say found, because like you could generate this. You know, you don't have to go out and find it. It's within you. You just have to allow it and accept certain, you know, certain things about your situation and the truths of suffering. So, you know, you're more than capable, and we all have Buddha nature. That is part of these lessons as well. And it's there, we just got to tap into it. And so you would get to this place of, I have to satisfy my bodily needs, you know, but only minimally. And monks will, this is for monastics that is, and they'll eat once a day and by a certain time, and, you know, take water and drink at a certain time, and being quite a minimalist in terms of that, because craving, if you have good control of your mind, craving, you know, it does lead to suffering, but it's not as bad. But most of us are not operating in that way. And by most of us, I mean like the biggest lot of us, we are just not operating in that sense. We just want more and more and more. You know, 1 is good, 2 is better, and that is where it is. So understanding that we have this craving, it is a natural part of our human experience, as well as the animals, which they say is a lower realm. To each their own, you know. I as a Buddhist, I'm ascribing to that, but you might not feel that way. Either way, they share consciousness, they feel pain, and you have to show them compassion, you know, and all means all, not, you know, you have to love the snake and the spider and the mosquito the same way you love the dog and the cat and your goldfish. But that could be work as well. And so here we have a key point thinking about how things actually are. Right? We're talking mostly first here, there, right, with the sensory pleasures and states of being. You know, we all have some part of us, to a certain degree, we want to feel pleasure, we want to feel comfort and air conditioning maybe, or something like to these effects, belly full. That's there, and that's true. But what about the craving for existence? This is a really big one, and there's a lot of really good material out there about this, and how many different definitions and meanings can come out of this. Because what did the Buddha mean, this craving for existence? Well, it speaks a lot to this conventional I that we've been talking about, this I that we're defending, this I and this ego that needs to be somebody. And not just be somebody, be recognized by others and praised and validated and propped up. You know, it is not simply enough to exist as one is, or to be existing, say, as the crocodile on the banks, who's, you know, just, we don't know the thoughts of a crocodile, if there is any. Surely there's some besides just eat or something, but point just being is that we are not content with just being. And this I wants to exist. And when this I feels that it's being annihilated or it will die, that is like the point of the fear of death, right? That this I will be annihilated. Where does it go? What will happen to me? What will happen to me? that is the craving for existence. That is the craving for immortality. And that is a very human trait, but that's a bit speciesist in a way, because we really don't know if a dog wants to live forever or not. If it has such thoughts, and other conscious beings, if they have such thoughts, right? They have no way of telling us, so we have to assume for at least this conversation that it's just us. But we crave to exist, we crave to be remembered, make legacy, and I mean, the societies around the world pour so much energy into these things. And then a generation or two comes along, and half the time they could care less because their existence matters more to them, and they want to be immortal, lasting forever, existing for a very long time. Because sometimes people will accept, right, that our physical body may go, but I'm going to heaven, or I'm going to this place, I'm going to this realm. You know, in Buddhism, there's several realms too, and some people don't want to be reborn in the human realm. Too much suffering, even though this is the realm that we can develop and reach full enlightenment. But some people want to go to Deva world, which is like, you could just think of it as like a realm that is like a resort paradise, buffets of food, beautiful people, if that even matters, if sex still matters. Like, just think of it like the Deva realm is a place where you don't have many wants because they're all being filled all the time. But it's also, if that exists and you were to be there, very hard to come out, because you're not thinking of, and you could also see this a bit in replayed in the human realm, in the sense of how people live lavish lives and different things, and they're just not concerned about developing compassion, because they're, you know, every want and need is met, and they're almost insulated. You know, it's just like they forget that there was other people suffering or not being able to, you know, enjoy, and so like other beings in that realm. And I'm also not an expert on the metaphysical aspects of some Buddhist traditions, but that's a bit of the taste of what this craving for existence is. And now also that, you know, this craving to be annihilated, like that's the flip side of it, because how many people have you, either yourself, do you hear about with depression and, you know, suicidality and these kind of things that do happen and exist in the world, but people want to cease to be. They don't want to exist anymore. They don't want to come back. They just want things to be over. And they want whole situations to be over, or cultures. And I mean, there's, you know, when you go up the scale, there's some really evil and hurtful things that people think and want and even try to act out. So that's, you know, that's really not good. And to expound though on that, I would definitely recommend going to the text, because there is surely details that I am missing. As you can see, as a lay practitioner, you know, like I was telling in the last episode or just here, you know, the physical sufferings, that's easy to grasp. We all can relate. We could definitely relate, you know, whether we don't like to think about it or not, like we could relate to this existence wanting to go on, protecting this I, this sort of thing. But the craving for non-existence could be a bit touchy and a bit difficult to mentally hold. But those are the three, you know, majors there. And thinking about other causes of suffering, one would say is the mind. Mind plays a big role in the causes of suffering, both our own mind and for us, but also how our minds, and which actually, you know, what that blurb was saying there too, we're acting out of ignorance. We're acting with limited awareness, and about how our actions might be affecting others in our sphere of influence around us, and not just people, but our pets, our, you know, the animals, the flowers, you know, all kind of things. We move through this life with this unawareness and this, we think we're aware, we think we're sometimes on it, and, you know, you can get there. It's not all or nothing in that sense, but most of us are not there. We might even think we're there, or that we're doing good and the right things, but we have to really define what that is and what that looks like, because we can see actually very easily that most people are moving in ways that are just compulsions and reactionary to past traumas, to bad childhoods, right? Like they, somebody didn't get validated by dad and that's why they act in the way they do, seeking praise from the community, but it's like never enough because it's never going to be dad telling them. So they always, are going, trying to be seen in a certain way and to be validated in a certain way. And there's plenty, just so many examples of this. And then people say, no, that's me. And like, I aspire for greatness, or I want to inspire the next generations under me, or I want to, and maybe to some degree I want to do that, right? Like I'm not out here criticizing or judging in a way. It's just that trying to just paint more pictures and more examples that might help you to see that even some of the best of us who think we're aware of something, we are like, somebody else could come along and just be like, you've totally missed the plot. Or, what about from this angle? Oh, I didn't see it from that angle. Oh, okay, cool. But that's the point of having this understanding, and so that you can do better, you can help get yourself to a state that suffers less, and by that effect, model it, and then for the world to eventually, hopefully, suffer less. It's, would love to have somebody on one day to help talk about some of these things about karma, and whether, can we really have a utopian place in this world, like globally, where everyone's needs are met and everyone's all kind of pieced out and chill, not totally blissed out, not high, just, living a good life, belly full. I'd like to see it, but I guess they would say that the collective karma globally for that to happen, which would be a beautiful thing, would be not going to happen overnight or tomorrow. We seem to be going quite the other way right now, and hopefully we can pump the brakes on that and turn it around. And even that, though, is a mental idea that I have and am expressing, is craving for, and this is actually really important to bring up, craving for things to be different than how they are. I'm not accepting the reality of the world in which and how it is, and just accepting that. Now, I tread lightly here because there's injustices and people being abused, and those things I think you do need to be a bit of an activist and be involved in, and interfere positively when you can. That'll be on also the Eightfold Path, right interference, or non-interference, sorry. It's non-interference. I don't, at least currently at my state and conscious level and things, I can't engage and just sit idly by for certain things. It's, I don't think that's possible for me. I could see how maybe others, but for me and my history and my background and my conventional ancestors, I think it's very important. But the real point of this, little tidbit here is that also is craving, and mental craving we could talk about for another hour, really, for months at a time actually, and just really start to examine that, because mental craving leads to suffering. Because one day when I see that my craving for equity and more peace and people to be taken care of and stuff, when I realize in a different day that these things are not being met, and now my mood is down, and I don't know why is my mood so down. I saw this bad news and I kind of know that, but like I don't fully am holding it in my mind at that day, right? Like I'm talking both historically but also in the future, let's say, where am bound to forget again just how much of I'm not in acceptance in those moments. Acceptance is such a big key. It'll free you from so much, but it is difficult. It is difficult to accept suffering. It is difficult to accept pain, to embrace pain. our minds have a natural aversion to that too. So it's there's a lot there to unpack. But also important to note that we have these mental aspirations, these mental ideas, thoughts, whatever, or all of them, and as they occur, or rather don't occur, these things will also lead to more suffering. Even the most well-intended can lead to some forms of suffering, as we discussed about Noble Truth number 1. And so hopefully that helps. Remember, give yourself some grace. You're only a human being. We're doing our best. That's why we practice. You catch it, you turn around when you can, you do better where you can, for yourself, for your community, for others. And hopefully, as time goes on and you practice more, you suffer a little less, or you then learn some skills to help you and help those in your sphere of influence suffer a little less. So, thank you again for being here. I'm so happy you're along here, for the journey. If you've been enjoying these and feel inclined, give it a like, subscribe, share. No pressure as always. It just helps the algorithm move around, and it helps other people find us and join us on the journey, and find each other and help each other through all of life's difficulties. And so we'll end with our favorite breath. Peace in and peace out. Tune in next week for Noble Truth number 3. I'm excited to be going through this with you and give you some of the unique ideas and things that Buddhism is pointing out and that the Buddha pointed out. And hopefully it helps you as much as it has helped billions of others. It has survived thousands of years. Human beings have not changed that much, so I think it's all still really helpful. So thank you for being here, and until next time.